Hi YouTube, this is krazyshy, aka Nika. Um, this video is going to be about the do's and don'ts of transitioning. This is for the girls who are still transitioning and are not quite sure about doing the big chop, or they're just not doing the big chop yet. So these are a couple tips that you should know while you're transitioning. You should always be researching, what's good for your hair. Like, go on Google and, these are some very, very important and helpful tips that we need to know while we are still transitioning. So, here is my first tip. Do not treat your hair as it is still relaxed. You just don't do it. We're trying to get to the natural side, try join the natural sisterhood. You know what I mean? We're not trying to have relaxed hair. So I see a lot of girls while they're transitioning, they'll take a flat iron and just focus on the on the natural side, and just burn and burn and burn and burn. Like, no, we're trying to get natural. So don't treat it as if that it's still relaxed, you know what I mean? Which is bringing me to my second point. Do not apply heat to your hair. Okay, I know that's kind of weird to say, and it's kind of hard to quit cold turkey, so I'm going to word it a different way. Use little, if any, heat at all to your hair. Try to use different ways to work with your hair. Like, don't blow dry your hair. Like, what I do is I air dry my hair, and so a way to make that easier is wash your hair at night. Style it at night, whatever, how you're going to do your hair. Right before you walk out the door and you undo your hair, whatever, how you did it, by that time it should be dry. Unless you're one of those people who only sleep for like 2 hours and then go. But if you like sleep, take your 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night that you should be doing, your hair should be dry by the time you wake up. And after you finish doing all your good cleansing and hygiene, your hair should be dry. And if not, then it will just be a little bit damp. So then you could probably take a hair dryer if you're in a rush and just, blow dry your hair a little bit. Do not comb your hair while it's dry. Don't comb it while it's dry. Don't pick it while it's dry. Don't put anything in your hair, like combing wise, while it's dry. Okay? Like, you should only be combing your hair when you're deep conditioning it or conditioning it, or while you're combing it after you washed it. Anything you should be just doing is probably just finger combing it a little bit. When I wake up in the morning, all I have to do is finger comb my curls, and then I'm ready to go. I'm out the door. But if you do have to comb it because you want to do it a different style, because whatever, have a spray bottle. So put some water in it. If you want to put different products in it that, I don't know, for frizzing of hair or whatever, just spray your hair before you comb your hair. Do not use small combs in your hair. Don't use small combs, and try to stay away from brushes. Excuse me. Little combs are going to rip your hair out, so just don't even use them. If you have some in your house and you're transitioning, give them to your friends. I don't know, if you're a hustler, sell them on eBay. Just don't use them in your hair. They're not your friend, okay? So just better off just buy wide tooth combs and comb your hair while it is wet, right? Also, this is a fact that I got from Google about hair brushes. Brushes make your hair cuticles rough, and also it like kind of messes up your curl pattern if you really pay attention to it. When you brush a certain part of your hair, like the front, most likely people brush the front of their hair, and then you go look in the middle, the curl pattern in the middle of your hair, it tends to be more defined than the front, because when you keep brushing it, it messes up the curl pattern of your hair. Do moisturize your hair. You don't have relaxed hair anymore, so water, you can put as much water in your hair as possible. Your hair likes it. It's your friend's hair. Use water based products, cream based products, like whatever. Just moisturize your hair. And when you moisturize your hair, love your ends. You know, all, because from our curl pattern, we have natural oils, but it tends to not go all the way down to the ends. So love your ends. Always apply the most to the end of your hair. You know, it's the oldest part of your hair, so it needs the most love. And don't use moisturizer that just sits on your hair. Use moisturizer that penetrates through your hair. If you're using a hair grease or a hair oil or whatever, and you just see that my hair's been greasy for days, it's just sitting there and it's not penetrating through, don't use that moisturizer, because it's not moisturizer, it's just sitting there and it's not doing much. You sleep with a silk or a satin cap, because you want to retain that moisture. If you sleep on cotton, pillowcases, it will break your hair off. It'll dry out your hair, and then you're using more products than you need to, more moisturizing product. I have right here, this is my satin pillowcase, which is good for your hair. So sleep with satin pillowcases if you don't like to tie your hair up, because I sleep a little bit wild so it won't stay on my head. But try to buy like the caps, silk scarf, like whatever, the satin pillowcase, just to retain the moisture, and also it'll keep your hairstyle for a little bit longer. Trim. Trim, trim, trim. Trim your hair. 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 Can't value how important it is to trim your hair. Don't be afraid of scissors. Scissors are your friend. Your hair grows every so much a month. I don't know. I'm not too sure on how much. Google it. I'm sure Google will tell you. So your hair grows however much a month. But if you have damaged ends and split ends, then you just not trimming them off, they're gonna keep splitting higher and higher until it gets to your roots, and then your hair will just never grow, really. So you need to love your ends, moisturize your ends, trim your ends, anything to help your hair grow. And then when you're trimming your hair, it's not, oh, I'm going to cut off an inch or an inch and a half or 2 inches. That is a haircut. A trim is just a little snip. So the faster you catch the split end, the better it is for your hair to grow. See, like, and however you want it to feel. So if it's feeling a little rough, keep a hair diary. You know, keep intact of how your hair is doing. You know what I mean? Like products that you're using that are working for you, how they're working for you. Products that didn't work for you. So like that, if you're using a product, and you see how it works with your hair. If it works well, if it doesn't work well with your hair. And you know, I don't know if you want to do videos, keep pictures, actually use an actual diary and write how everything is going. Just make sure, you know, you keep a hair diary. Set a hair regimen of where you're starting off at and where you want to end up. You know, make it realistic. Don't, okay, I'm going to do my big chop tomorrow, and by 6 months I want my hair to be down to my elbows, or, you know, make realistic goals. Last but not least, enjoy your hair while you're transitioning it. Play with it, you know, look up different styles, you know, make up your own styles, you know, go on Google, YouTube, or whatever natural hair sites, and just look how different people do their hair while they were transitioning or while they already are natural. You know, play with it, because while you have still a little bit of length, once you do your big chop, you're going to be rocking a TW8 for a while. So there's certain styles that you won't be able to do. So play with your hair, enjoy, have fun with it, you know, love yourself, and everything should be all good.
Yeah, yeah, you are my African queen. Ooh, Lord, ooh, Lord. Just like the sun, light up the earth, you light up my life. The only one I ever see with a smile so bright. Hey, and just yesterday, you came around my way. You changed my horse in way with your astonishing beauty. Oh, you could have brother sing. No